Hey class, this is Nick. I got a continuation of the last tutorial. This is on like collage drawing. Remember, this is a perspective drawing, and it's meant to evoke a sense of space and of use. And these things can often get kind of weird, and that's kind of what I'm going for today. So I started with my image that I took from the King Pavilion, and I've isolated some forms, and I've abstracted them as lines. And what I'm left with is this simple kind of drawing with tone and line. I notice when I bring it in, I've got some information kind of missing again, right? You can see this kind of checkered background, which means that it's transparent. So one thing I can do right away with this would be to actually go ahead and remember I pressed D to get the white and black. The white and black, color swatches, and then I kind of swap them here. I want to go ahead and use my bucket to fill the background on this layer. I made a layer behind the sort of like the base kind of drawing, and that brings everything back, at least the way that I can see it. I also noticed I got a weird kind of border around the edges here that I didn't really want, but I can crop that out later. So I'm ready to begin to put elements in my drawing, and I've gone online. And I've started to think about the composition I wanted to make, and I was thinking about something kind of Iowa themed, maybe the Iowa State Fair. And so one of the things I thought about was the Wienermobile. I wanted to put sort of a car in the space, maybe think of it as like an exhibition space. And so I was looking for an image of it. I don't really want an image in perspective. That would be okay. These things don't have to be perfect, but I really did kind of want to try to give the illusion of depth. And so I looked for an image that was mostly flat, or mostly like an elevation. And then this is an image that I can resize. If I want to put it in the background, in the middle ground, or something like that, then it's a really easy image to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw that image on my desktop so I can work with it. I'm just going to call it Wienermobile. And then I was thinking about the background of it, and I was thinking about, well, not this guy, I guess, but this is, I was thinking about this guy as, I think this is Rick Perry, and there's always these terrible pictures of people eating food on a stick, because nobody looks good eating food on a stick. And I think Rick Perry is going to go in my foreground as an element, just to be funny. I also thought about the butter cow, and again, I found a picture of the butter cow in profile. I'm going to use her because I might use her in the middle ground or the background. And then I thought I might need some texture, so I looked at some wood textures, and I kind of found something that has a lot of character. And then I thought I wanted some red carpet somewhere, maybe for the butter cow or something. So I'm kind of like making kind of a weird space, but for me it's this kind of the sense of like an exhibition hall, a space with a little bit of a kind of grandeur that we can show things in. The other piece I'm missing is a cornfield, and I'm pretty sure that I dropped it somewhere else, so I'll have to find that. I may have it here on the desktop. Oh yeah, the other thing, I found some people kind of walking, like a family. So I wanted some people besides Rick Perry. So I found this family walking with food in their mouths, and maybe even some people in the background here that I can actually cut out. But this is a nice set of people that are kind of, again, kind of not too distorted or anything. It's a nice kind of flat image. So I'm gonna go ahead and use them. I just noticed that I don't have my my JPEG. If you download something and it doesn't show up, you just want to add the JPEG extension to it. So I'm going to go ahead and save all these files to my desktop so I can work with them. And that way I have them handy for you guys as I'm working in the video. Let's see here, my butter cow. It's a huge picture of a butter cow. You always want to try to get as big an image as you can. Remember, it's easy to always go smaller, but if you have an image that's not very good quality, it's not going to go large very well. It's also not going to print as well. Now, again, these things, these photo collage pieces aren't necessarily high quality, but it doesn't hurt to start from good quality. So I'm getting my best quality Rick Perry eating a corn dog picture, and kind of go from there. The one thing I forgot is I had a really nice picture of some cornfields, and I'm just going to go ahead and, you know, there's lots of good pictures. I think I might go ahead and grab maybe this one. It's got some trees. Not a huge image, but that's okay. Go ahead and save that. Oh, corn.jpg. Perfect. All right. So I've got these. I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna knock some of these images out using a couple different methods, and we'll kind of see where we go from there. But why don't we go ahead and just see what this looks like when we add in some corn. So if I go ahead and open up, because I don't need to do much with this image right now, so I'm going to go ahead and just select all. So, you know, Command A or Control A to select the whole image, Command C to copy it, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it on a layer. And you can see it shows up, and you can see actually that this is not filled in right in my like collage drawing. I'll need to work on that, but for now I've got my cornfield, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do Command T to transform it. And I'm going to kind of click and drag it. And I want to try to get, we'll see how this works here. Remember, because I've got, this is where the opening is, and then it kind of comes down to here, and then the corn will kind of show through the windows here, so it's not bad. Yeah, it's not too bad. Again, these things don't have to be perfect. And then since I've missed something, I'm going to go ahead and use my magic wand to select, and then Control select. Well, and actually what I can do is I can just actually select this with a box, and then deselect the areas where the windows are. So I hold down Alt again, and then I'm going to float this layer between the collage drawing layer and my corn layer, and I'm just going to call this corn. Go ahead and do a white fill, and that's it. The reason they did it is because it did it that way is because if I'm trying to select everything on this collage drawing layer, I have to like go in and I have to select every single one of these little things, and that's, I could make errors there. It might not look good, but if I do it this way, then I know that the plane here is going to float behind this railing, which is really what happens anyway, right? And that's pretty good. And then if I've got any you know, kinds of errors in it, like I can actually just erase those carefully, and no one will know. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So just remember, select invert, go to this layer here. Oops, did that a little bit too well. Let's make that a better selection. Okay, select invert. There, and just clean it up a little bit. Not too bad. I don't mind that at all. So zoom out. You can see already that begins to establish this kind of floating, you know, piece. That's not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and take out this part of the corn layer though, because I don't really need it. And that's already starting to shape up. That's not too bad. I might put something up here, like a helicopter or something, just to show that that's outside. Maybe some sky or something like that, or maybe not. I think I do need something to look at though, actually, so I can establish that that's an opening. But this isn't going too bad so far. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my images, start cutting them out. So the easy one to kind of work with is my my butter cow. And this is great because it's already shot on a background, and I don't have to do any difficult kind of selection. You know what that means? Magic wand. We're going to magic wand. As you can see that though that I've selected too much, so I want to decrease the tolerance a bit. Doesn't look too bad. I've got a good edge. I just want to check this. Not too bad, not too bad. Oh, and then I got to select in here, so I'm going to add to that selection. Yep, not bad. The other piece though that I see is this kind of shadow here, and I don't want to cut that piece of the cow away. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to selection with the lasso and just kind of draw that patch. Oops, sorry, subtract it. All right, hold Alt. If you do it wrong, just do it the other way. There we go. Okay, so I've selected the positives, right? And actually I want to go ahead and, oops, I'm gonna go ahead and subtract this as well. Oops. Undo that. Sorry, now I want to add that one. So just, I see these little tiny bugs in the drawing. I want to add that to the selection. Okay, now that everything is there, go back to select inverse. Now I have my cow. Copy, and go back to my collage and paste my cow, which is going to be enormous. Yep, enormous. And that goes in front of the drawing. Gosh, I like that a lot, actually. Right now, I wish I could just do that, but I can't. So let's go ahead and transform our butter cow. And what you want to try to do is to try to figure out, like in the image, what the right scale is going to be, and you have to think about like where, you know, if this is like a 3 foot high or 4 foot high, you know, piece. In this plane, it might be twice as high. You know, if assuming the butter cow is maybe 5 feet tall. You know, you want to make sure that looks right in the space. And it's kind of a trial and error thing, but you can use cues from your environment to help you understand, like, okay, within the viewing plane, how tall is that element, right? And I got my cow, and I'm actually going to go ahead and flip her horizontally, so that, because I want the head, I want the cow's head to show up. And okay, so I've got her in here, and what I want to do is to try to establish the depth of the image. So I'm going to multiply that image, and I'm going to use that to help me trim away the elements that are in the foreground. And I'm just going to double click to close it, and then delete that piece of my cow. So then when I do that, right, it looks like she's in that space, but then I don't like what it does to this edge here, so I'm going to go ahead and undo all that stuff. Start to move her around the space a little bit to kind of see where I want that. So again, as I move her in size, I have to kind of adjust where she is in the viewing plane, and then that's not too bad. So, and then that's an easy fix to make in terms of cropping out what's in front of her. It's good to have elements in your drawing crossing foreground elements, or sorry, have foreground elements cross your other elements. This gives us a feeling of depth, to know that this is coming out in front of where the cow is in the viewing plane, and then the cow is in front of the column and in front of the wall. Kind of helps us with that illusion of depth. Okay, not too bad. And then we can go into our other images here, and I might go ahead and add some let's go ahead and add some red carpet. And this is like carpet. It's not a great not really a great image, but it's the best I could find on short notice. I kind of want there to be a feeling that there's like literally some red carpet in the space. So I put it in there. I'm going to transform it, so rotate it. You can see that if you go to the corner of the object, it turns into a rotation. I'm going to hold down Shift, which restricts it to increments, place it in the space, and then what I can do with it is I can actually go to transform perspective. And this is a special kind of mode for transform where if I drag the image, it actually distorts it in perspective a little bit. And this actually helps me create the illusion that I want. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then just transform it normally by moving it down. And I'm kind of using cues from the space to figure out, you know, where I should position it and what the distortion should be. Okay, and that's like okay. I'm going to go ahead and transform that again with the perspective tool. And you got to experiment with it, but basically so I'm trying to kind of find the lines I'm doing pretty well here, but I'm not doing so well over there. So again, this is more of an art than a science. You just have to kind of play with it until it looks right. But this helps with the space, because it does kind of give us this idea of a focus and of a vanishing point, and it's a nice burst of color that kind of helps focus ourselves in the image. I kind of want it to be a little bit darker and desaturated, because now this is the kind of image where, like, you know, something that's really red, you know, might be perfectly appropriate. But I kind of want it to be more of like a red carpet red, like a Bernard Tschumi red. There we go. Okay. And you know, I've done a lot of stuff to the image, and I have not been very diligent about saving, so I'm going to save before I make a big mistake. That's not too bad. Okay, and then the other piece, I kind of want to show that there's something down here, and so I'm going to see if I can use that wood that I grabbed to I don't know if I put it anywhere. Is that my wood? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Pick up my wood. Command A, Command C. Looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and paste it below my other layers. Okay. And my idea is to do something like this, like where I'm kind of showing that there is another plane, you know, down there. And then, you can almost get away with that, but let me maybe resize it just slightly so that I can get a little bit more detail in it. And I'm completely eyeballing this. I could, if I went back to my actual, you know, image, and I can do that, I can just put this here. I mean, I really don't even, I think if I did, it's probably down here in the image, in the actual image. There, which do you like better? I think it's a little high, but in the composition, I like how it reads. I don't know, I guess I might float it down a little bit lower. I don't know. Don't say I'm not accurate. I don't know. It's too nice though. I want to give it a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now let's go ahead. We can kind of quickly add the Wienermobile, because why not? So get the image here, and I'm gonna use the technique that I showed you guys in the video to basically create a clipping mask for it. So I'm going to go into the channels layer and add in this kind of alpha, and get my paintbrush, and I've got can use my white, and I don't really need to and I'm using the brackets to make the selection thing bigger and smaller. And I actually need a crisper edge, so I'm going to go ahead and maybe look at the hardness of the, yeah, so like a hardness setting is going to help with that. And I'm not going to do like a super good job with this. This is one of these places actually where having a tablet can really help, because you can actually just kind of brush it away. And I'm just going to paint, you know, away the areas. And if you've got like a really big area, you don't need to paint it. What you can do is you can just select the area with one of your tools. I like the polygonal lasso, and then you can kind of fill it with white. Okay, It leaves a little edge, but that's easy to kind of clean up. You can just knock it out with your brush. You may not be able to see this in the video because it's extremely subtle, but there's a little tiny film that kind of gets left behind when you use that operation. So just trust me, it's there. Okay, so we're gonna pay licensing fees to the Oscar Mayer people in this video because we want that logo. Okay. And I don't need the whole car because, to be honest with you, I'm just gonna cut. It's only gonna come into frame from the side, so I don't really need the whole thing. And this is just a demo anyway, so it just has to be close enough. Okay, so I got that. I'm gonna go ahead and make my selection with that, and then copy paste that. Hang on a minute. Copy it, and then should be able to paste it onto a new layer. Oops. Let's make sure that everything is selected. There we go. So I've got this on a layer, and then I can go through with my eraser and clean up any kind of crumbs that are left behind. And if things aren't looking very good with this, it's good to kind of over paint and then go through and clean it up. If you have any mistakes, like real mistakes with it, you can always go back and make your selection again. I just noticed that my brush isn't crisp enough. So you kind of want to get rid of any of these kind of shadow things. You just want the image to be as clean as you can make it. You don't want it to be fuzzy. And again, I'm not doing like a super great job with this. I'm just kind of doing it very quickly for you, but you get the idea. And then if I have this thing, it's this big object, I can copy paste it into my other composition here. I'm going to put on a layer in front of the plane. Boom. Actually, I need to put it in front of the lines. Beep, beep. And I'm going to shrink it a little bit because it's pretty big, but not that big. And I want to, it's going to be coming in from the side over there. Yeah. Not too bad. Okay, we have Wienermobile. So once you've got that, again, we're going to take the technique of subtracting. So we're going to go multiply, and then kind of zoom in here, and then subtract any elements that are in front of the Wienermobile from the Wienermobile. Okay, like that column is a big one, and these things actually are great because they already kind of stand out in front of it, so we don't really need to worry about that too much. Yeah, so let's take a look at this image. I don't know. It's not great, but it does kind of read into space. I might actually choose something different. I'm not sure I like the way it looks right now, and I'm not sure if it's not big enough. But that's something you kind of work on. So, but that's the idea, though, that you just want to like make sure that any elements in front of it are either in front of it because of the way the layers work, or because you've removed those pieces of the image so that it's clear that they are in front of your photo collaged element. All right, so in the break in the video, I've gone in, I've actually isolated Rick Perry and my Iowa family here, and we're gonna go ahead and put them in the image. So I'm gonna select them and place them in the collage, and so they're quite small, and I kind of want them to kind of stroll the red carpet here. So I'm gonna increase the size of the group and sort of let them, and so now they've created, so there's something behind the column and something in front of the column, and they're in between these two pieces. So that's really going to give me a nice sense of depth. Again, I've tried to control for the scale of them. I feel like, and it might be a little bit short actually, judging by the sizes of the pieces. Okay, and so that's pretty good. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my Rick Perry here, and this might not work, but to put him coming in off the frame, I think that's probably okay, giving us more of a sense of activity in the space, breaking the kind of the frame and kind of filling up that kind of foreground space. Yeah, I might do something like that. Maybe I'll reverse him. Actually, that's the whole thing. Ugh, I just want Perry. Let's see here. Nah, I don't like that. There we go. So he's just crossing that, and again, kind of giving us more of a sense of depth. I'm going to crop this image because there's this kind of white border I don't want that came in from Illustrator. So I'm going to select everything with Command A or Control A. You can also just say Select All up here. I'm going to go ahead and use the modify. I'm going to say contract, apply at canvas bounds, contract by 10 pixels. That's pretty good. And then just go to image, image crop, and that should just cut it out. And that's it. That's my image. So they've got a pretty good use of the foreground, middle ground, and background to kind of set that up. I might want to put some element, up here, like an airplane or like a blimp or something, just to kind of show that this is actually outside and it's in space. But not bad. So just a few simple elements that can really help kind of communicate a space, and some images that can help communicate the feeling of a space. But not a bad effort for just a few minutes. These things can be really rough. It's okay. It's just about helping someone understand what's going on or what could potentially be going on in a space. And that's it. I'll see you guys next time.